Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brownstone. I'm your host, Dr. Michele, and you're listening to Numbers Don't Lie. We learn to get out your feelings so you can make the best decisions for yourself, your family, and your business. I hope you guys have been enjoying the content so far, and today is going to be no different. I have a very special guest. Not only is her organization amazing, but she's actually my friend. I met her a while ago. I feel like 10 years ago. And both her and I have actually went along our journey and both received our PhD. So it's really funny that, we've experienced life changes together. And, she's a part of this organization and I'm a part. I have my own company that helps nonprofits like hers get on this great trajectory of more impact, more productivity, and more revenue because it takes money to do great things. So I always like to highlight and showcase who they're doing great work in the community. So without further ado, let me introduce my friend, Dr. Shalonda Ingram, as well as LeJuene Thompson, who is the leader of Buttrfly Girls. Welcome, ladies.
Hi there. Hi there.
How are you guys?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy that you guys decided to join me today. You could have been anywhere else. So I appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedule to join me here on Numbers Don't Lie. So could you introduce yourselves? Dr. Lons, I'll let you start, and then LeJuene, you can come on after that.
Yes, I am Shalonda Ingram. Most people call me Dr. Lons. As Shell said, we've known, it's actually been more than 10 years because I've been in Nashville for 9 years.
What?
So we met in 2012.
That sounds about right.
2011, 2012.
Oh, wow.
Somewhere around there. So yeah, I've known you for a while. And I think you're the crazy part. I think you're the first person that I told when I started applying for school.
I think so.
And
the funny thing, I was not thinking about applying to go to school when you told me.
So yeah, because when you told me, you were like, "Girl, I'm in school." I'm like, "Since when?" But yeah, I got my master's from North Carolina Central. That's where me and you met. My bachelor's from Winston-Salem State University in biology, and now, then I got my PhD from Michele Medical College in biomedical sciences and engineering. I completed my postdoctoral residency at Vanderbilt University, and I'm back at Michele Medical College as faculty of pharmacology, professor of pharmacology here, and will soon be launching some research projects. So I'm really excited. Buttrfly Girls is a passion project founded by Mrs. LeJuene Thompson, the one and the only. And it was a challenge, honestly. I feel like it was just a challenge for me to jump in the boat with her. And honestly, there's nothing that she would do that I won't support because I know her heart is good. I know her intentions are just dead on doing good things for good people. And so that's, when she told me about the project, the Buttrfly Girls in general, I was like, put me in the game, coach. And we've been tight ever since. We've been on it ever since.
I love it. Well, June, I mean, goodness, such glowing words. I don't know if you're speechless right now, but
I am. I'm always speechless. It's such a God thing meeting Dr. Shalonda. I think it's been well over 10 years now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I met you when I was like young. I'm not gonna tell my
Very
age.
young. Absolutely. And it was at an event. I'm a singer by profession. It's my professional trade. But I met Dr. Shalonda at a health and wellness event that Yolanda Adams was having. And I was one of the performers. And they were beside my table. And it just clicked instantly. It was an instant click. And from there, just sharing with her what my goals were at the time. As a teenager, I was arrested as a juvenile, and I stole a Little Debbie cake on a dare from my cousin. Got arrested, got labeled as a juvenile delinquent, and then I went through a very depressive state for about 3 or 4 years. I suffered with teenage depression, and two suicide attempts. So with all of that going on, they paired me with a big sister. Excuse me, and she changed the trajectory of my life. I'm the ninth of 10 children. And so it wasn't like I didn't have anybody, but I always felt alone. But being paired with her name was Debbie, being paired with her opened up something else in me. And it made me realize that God had something else for my life. So as a child, I made myself a promise. If I ever had the opportunity to do something like becoming a big sister or a program that would support mentorships or be catered to young girls, then I would. And so I shared all of that with Dr. Shalonda. And here we are, 10 years later. God is good. And I feel like we're still just getting started.
Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful. I I
Yeah.
don't I'm speechless. I'm so glad that there was something great that came out of your story. So
Yeah.
thank you for saying yes to God. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's amazing. So it sounds like that's the start of Butterfly Girls. Would you tell us a little
Yes.
more about Butterfly Girls?
Yes. So Butterfly Girls, and again, Dr. Shalonda, I would just there would be days that we would just be talking and I would just be sharing with her, you know, wow, I want to do this, I want to do that. There were so many things that we both were talking about. And most days before I could go to bed, I would have an email with the outline of, okay, we can do this, this, and this. So the conception and inception of the whole Butterfly Girls movement was just a lot of talking and sharing and visualizing of dreams and commitments that I really made to myself that I wanted to do. And God just paired me with Dr. Shalonda, and it just clicked and worked. So now 10 years later, we have several initiatives that have come out of Butterfly Girls. So we started the organization, and it initially started for girls ages 5 to 18. Excuse me. But as I travel singing, I remember one instance in particular. We were in Durham, and Dr. Shalonda, I don't know if you remember this lady, she came and sat at the table, and she shared her story of how she saw her husband die tragically. And they were, I think they were traveling in their trailer,
Hmm.
and somehow the trailer caught on fire and they could not get him out. And she was so traumatized. She had to be in her late 50s. And she was a Caucasian woman. She sat at that table and she fell to the floor and cried. And I knew then that we had to open it up. It was just not to be limited to girls ages 5 to 18, and we opened it up to women of all ages. Because what I do realize is that unresolved trauma, you take that with you. It just grows and grows, and it's just unresolved in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or whatever. And so we wanted to provide resources for women and for young girls and women, that whatever your issue is, or you may not have an issue, you just maybe need a little push towards the right direction. But that's essentially what we do. We try to address the needs of young girls and women and provide resources to help them become holistic and to be their best possible selves.
I love that. I love that. So, because you kind of was, Shalonda, you mentioned something in LeJuene, you kind of did too, about some challenges or some different, I guess, paths you had to take based on what you guys have experienced. So, could you talk to us about the challenge of maintaining and managing a nonprofit like this?
It's a lot. As Ms. Thompson said, a lot of our initiatives were conversations. So the blessing about our connection is that she would say stuff, I would have an idea, we would discuss it, and then I would go somewhere. You know me, I'm going to write it out. I need to strategize it. I need to see what it looks like. So we did our first initiative, which is I Care. That's our homelessness and poverty initiative, where we're providing resources to homeless individuals in various cities. And we just took a plunge with that, honestly. But even before that, everything that we wanted to do, I had a proposal for.
Wow.
So I was just writing, like, if there's a chance that we could do it at any point, I'm going to write it out. I'm going to have my target audience outline. I'm going to have the program outline. I'm going to have the budget outline, so that when we actually get to where we can do it, I'm not doing any additional work. The work, that part of the job is already done. Only thing we really have to do at that point is execute. Um, and my 20-something-year-old self was wise because this year alone, well, since the pandemic, since we've, kind of been transitioning through and out of the pandemic, we have been very blessed to be able to launch more initiatives, more of these programs that I had already written. So um, it's the maintenance of it is a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
if we have a plan in place and you're executing plans, then you're not flustered with, some of the, how am I going to get it done? What will it look like? Only thing we're doing is assigning dollars at this point and people to these different programs that we have. So for us, our problem is not, or our challenge really isn't the programming part. It's growing the infrastructure of the
Mm,
business
gotcha.
part, which it's getting there, but you have to make sure that your infrastructure has the ability to maintain the programming. And so that's where we're at right now.
That sounds like not just nonprofits, but a lot of businesses. Because sometimes we
Mhm.
grow so fast and we don't have that solid foundation, or we're just kind of like we're just in the moment of doing things, and sometimes we don't even realize that we don't have the proper systems or the
Right.
proper technology to actually support all that we
Yeah.
want to do. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yep. Actually, we had a board meeting not too long ago, and I use my board is really interactive. Like they're hands on, and I love that about my board. So you know, they're not just holding positions. Everybody has their hands on the operations in some kind of way. And so we actually are blessed to have a board that is infrastructure based. And so one of the things we've been trying to do with technology is decide which way we want to keep our books. That's the thing.
Mhm.
There's so many different like giving streams and platforms for you to acquire donations.
Mhm.
That making sure all of that streamlined. That's a really big component of the finances, especially for a nonprofit, is being able to know where money's coming from and know where it's going to. Any
Absolutely.
business really, but
Yep.
nonprofits, it's a little more strenuous because we're in a constant state of having to prove that we're not in the for-profit zone.
Yeah. I'm glad
Um,
you brought that up.
yeah, so that's like one of the biggest things is like making sure we have the infrastructure and then like the technology. Like the structure of the company has to be right, but then the technology that helps us run the different aspects of the company has to be right as well.
Looking for additional funding for your business? Have you considered applying for a grant? In 2022, there were 500,000 federal grants awarded. That's $6.5 trillion. It's time to get a piece of the pie. So we want to invite you to the Grant Success Unlocked workshop, where we'll give you top tier grant writing insight. It's happening on Saturday, September the 23rd. Visit www.grantsuccessunlock.com to register now before seats fill up. Previous attendees are still raving about it. Did we mention that it's free? Head to www.grantsuccessunlock.com now.
You're listening to Numbers Don't Lie with me, Dr. Michele, on KCCR Cityscape. We hope that you're enjoying the content so far. Check us out on brownstoneworldwide.com. We have tons of things over there, news. We also have Brownstone Living Magazine, where I'm a contributor. I was actually on the cover last month. You can still go check that episode, that magazine out. It was Black Business Month. And there are some exciting things happening on the cover of this month. There's a WNBA player that was up there. And even this month, we're celebrating hip hop. I mean, it's just, go check out brownstoneworldwide.com as well as Brownstone Living Magazine. And we have tons of other podcasters that have great content on parenting and money, mindset, love. So this is not the only place you can get good stuff. There are other people out there, other voices for our community that and for what you need. So go check us out on brownstonworldwide.com as well as on Brownstone Worldwide on Facebook and Instagram. Okay. Now you segue us nicely into one of my questions, which is about technology. So because I know that's honestly always a challenge of business owners. There's always something coming out. There's always something new, all that good stuff. But there are just some foundational things that we just need. So if you could, implement one new piece of technology to help you with your processes or to run your programs or just better overall internal productivity, what would that new piece of technology be?
Um, Mrs. Thompson, I'm gonna have her speak on this, but I'm a scientist,
Yes.
so I'm very, very aware of pretty much everything that's going on around me. AI is a tool that there are lots of drawbacks to it,
Mhm.
but if you know what you're doing and you know how to manage or how to offset some of the disadvantages that from AI tools,
Mhm.
then it can be a very lucrative tool. So we're learning still how to use Chat GPT, and that's Mrs. Thompson. Like she's fascinated with that technology. Would you like to talk about it?
Well, that's just, I mean, that's not my favorite, but yeah, the Chat GPT, it just, it's incredible. But I think if for me, if we would have to vote on a tool, it would be mass messaging to get the word out.
I like
Mass messaging. For me, because I'm more hands-on, I'm not as visual on social media. So, but if I could just get the word out in one click, I'm good.
that. Mhm.
But for me, it would be mass messaging. And I think Chat GPT would come after that. But the mass messaging for me.
I like that. I mean, honestly, you can get the word out and finesse what I'm saying, the messaging, but we got to get this set up. So I totally
Right.
Yeah,
get that. And
Like
for
those,
yeah,
those who aren't using messaging, I'm like,
right. Yeah,
y'all
yeah,
better
these the short codes are thing. If you get you a good
yes.
short code and a good QR code, QR
yeah.
code. I love a good QR code. I got a QR code for everything.
Yep,
Yes, you do,
do.
and I love it.
I have a QR code for everything.
I love it.
Even my students, they have all of their practice quizzes are accessed through QR codes.
Nice.
So I give them quizzes after every class, and they they scan that good QR code, and they get their answers right away, and I get their results right away. And so I mean, it just works so well. But yeah, a
So
good 5 digit and a good QR code, I'm in there.
so what I hear you saying is if you're gonna have your phone in class, you're gonna use it for class. That's what I heard.
Absolutely.
They gonna use it anyway.
True. I
They
like
be on the
that.
phones anyway, so why not? Or that and those iPads, 'cause that's what they take most of their notes on. So that's how it is. But all of those are everything that I'm involved in, from Butterfly Girls to work to
Mhm.
even church. We use all like those three things are a constant in my life. I'm always trying to write something, so that's my Chat GPT, figuring
Mhm.
out how to work this content. Then any way of distribution, we're using either 5 digit code or QR code.
Absolutely. That's good. I love that. We're gonna get y'all right with that messaging because yeah, you gotta have that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So could you talk to us a little more? Because June, you alluded to it during your introduction about the transformation that you want to achieve. And I wrote young ladies, but it sounds like it's just women in general. What's this trend?
Yes.
And honestly, I don't even want to stop there because I think sometimes we think about our community and like just that one demographic, but it's the whole family that's gonna get, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna end up being
Absolutely.
transformed. But what is the transformation that you guys want to see in your community?
For me, I mean, just based on my own life and my own story, like the outlet. So we had our first conference this year, and we were able to successfully run two conferences in one. We had one with the girls ages 5 to 18 running, while we had one for women 18 and above. And just the access to outlets that allow you to share your story, to share without judgment, to
Mm-hmm.
share without fear,
Yeah.
and to share in a safe place. For me, I really believe and honestly believe, I'm now 53. Had I had this same access in my 30s, I wouldn't have had to carry some of the things
Yeah.
that we as women carry. And sometimes we carry it for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Um, but being able to have that access to letting some things go, talking it out. I'm a huge fan of therapy. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
huge fan of talking things out. I'm a huge fan of being able to feel safe enough to share something to the point that I can let it go. Okay, I got it off my chest. Now I'm free.
Yeah.
So the goal is to make sure that young women, young girls and women feel safe enough. They have a place to come where they know that they have the access to. Because we had, I don't know how many doctors we had at the conference, but there were so many doctors there that could address anything in the room, anything in the room. So there were women that, by the end of the day, there were hugs and tears and just so much freedom in the room. And that's what the goal is, to transform, to allow freedom to take place, to allow wholeness to take place. And just, we as women, we are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We are amazing. And even though we have to carry things, we're still amazing.
Yep.
But just the thought of being free and amazing, that's a vibe.
Yeah.
So that's the goal, to make sure that the women, everybody we touch, we teach, and everybody we touch, we want to make sure that they're whole, that they're living their best life, and that they know that they have access. So that's the goal in all of this transformation. And, even if you come back next year, you might have something else that you're dealing with, but you're not dealing with what you was dealing with last year,
Yeah.
because you're transforming. And we always talk about the process of a butterfly, how it goes through so many stages, but the end result is something beautiful. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're headed towards. That's the goal for what we do, why we do what we do.
I love that. Dr. Lons, you want to say something? I feel like I see you ready to jump in.
No, but I was just thinking like she's doing in other people's lives what she essentially like has done in my life since I met her in my 20s.
Wow.
Like I'm the first butterfly girl because I followed her
Yes,
around
you are. You about to
like a
make me
little
cry.
baby. And so, like I had like I'm kind of like a different story. I had both my parents in my life. I was raised by a really loving family, a very intelligent, prominent family. But what I something that my mom taught me was that I can't. My mom told me, she said, I can't teach you everything.
Hmm.
So if you need to get that other insight from somebody that's outside, she's like, as long as they love God, I don't care. As long as they know God and believe God for themselves, I don't care what they do. So when I made contact with Mrs. Thompson, it was like I swear, like I saw her and I saw me. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this lady's amazing. And so I just started following her around. But what she's facilitated for me has been a level of transformation that I didn't have to. I could be transparent,
Mm-hmm.
right? I could be 100% myself, not compromising myself or anything that I stood or believed for, and I didn't have to like sell an image of something that I wasn't. And it's like in some areas, like my grandma was a politician. You have to have a certain image to be in that.
Yeah.
My dad was a mayor. You have to have, like as the kid of a mayor, as the kid of like a state house representative, and like I had my own like certain level of prestige having graduated college early, high school and college early, and there were like these expectations that when I met her, it's not like she disregarded them, but she actually saw everything else. Like she saw
Mm-hmm.
that, but she saw everything else.
Yeah.
She helped me work out a lot of those tough spots that everybody else could see, but didn't know the word probably weren't willing to tackle. So she had a lot of the hard conversations with me, and so I think that what she's doing is just her. I can write it out because I've been through it.
Yeah.
I can write it out because I'm writing out a program from experience. She wasn't programming me at all. It was just
Mhm.
her pouring into me.
That's beautiful. And you said something that I think may free a lot of people. It was kind of a passing point to you, I mean, as you were speaking, but you were saying how your mom said, like I came from this loving home, but my mom said it's okay for you to supplement what you're not getting here. And I do think that we have been programmed as a society that if you grow up outside the norm, outside of the standard two-parent household, you're the one that have a deficit. But there are tons of people that live in these ideal situations that also have some deficits or maybe some places that need a little more development. And I think you saying that may have freed them is thinking like, oh, okay, like it's okay for me to need something too. Like, because sometimes there's this image that like I'm supposed to have it all together because I came from this ideal setting,
Yeah.
or that all the programs that are out there aren't for me because they're targeting people from single parent homes or people that grew up in poverty, whatever. So I think that was a very powerful statement that like it's okay if you came from a quote unquote ideal setting. There's still some things that you need too, that maybe you need to refine your character or to fill in some places that. And even LeJuene said, like, I grew up in a big family, but I always felt alone. Like, I think those are legitimate feelings that people have, but you just both of you guys gave them permission to know that it's okay for them to need help or seek help too.
Yeah, I think it's important because like I was a nerd growing up. I'm like,
No.
I'm the only scientist. Like, everybody in my family, they're politicians, they're everything else, and I come out and I want, I'm still in my dad's dress shirts, acting like playing in a laboratory. I play the games that I played were actually different. I played laboratory. I play my Barbies were my board. I've been having board meetings since I was like 5.
Oh my
My
God.
grandma, like I knew how to keep minutes. My grandma taught me how to keep minutes. She would have tea parties with me. Like I didn't play regular. Like everybody else outside jumping rope. I like to jump rope. I like to do all of that. But then like I'm like, all right, y'all, I'll be back. I got to go have this board meeting at 4 o'clock. They waiting on me. So
That's
having
hilarious.
people outside, you know what I mean? Like having people outside that actually see that and like, oh, I can do something with this. And actually, like I said, it was challenging a lot of times because Mrs. Thompson put a whole organization in my lap as a graduation present for getting my PhD. Like this is a graduation present. Who does that?
Right.
Oh, here you go.
Right.
A whole organization. Like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this?
That's hilarious.
But she looked at me and said, well, you've been doing it the whole time.
Oh.
So I mean, I'm just keeping, it's just a matter of, you have to understand when, people have kind of, I won't say run out, but they don't have the capacity to fuel another part of you that's very valid.
Yeah.
We do it for all these other communities, but for like, I kind of want to be the same thing for a nerdy black girl, a nerdy black kid that don't nobody understand. Like, why do you want to take the computer apart? I don't know. I want to know what's in it.
I used to do that with stuff and my mom would get mad. I'm like, but I want to see how it works.
I want to know what's in it. Like, what? I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Like, why is it bad that I want to know what's in the computer? And I
you
want to know
broke
how to
it.
put it together. You know what I
You
mean?
broke it, and it costs a lot of money. That's all.
I
Other
put
than that,
it back together and it worked. But I put it back together and it worked.
It worked even better, apparently. You guys
Like,
are amazing.
I literally rebuilt the laptop that I'm on this year.
I'm gonna act like you didn't just say that. Like she said, you know what, Shalonda?
Yeah.
How are you smarter than I even know? Like every time I talk to you, I realize how brilliant you are. So if y'all don't know who Dr. Lons is, y'all know who LeJuene Thompson, y'all need to check them out. Ladies, please tell the people where to find you guys and where to find Buttrfly Girls.
You can find that Buttrfly Girls on Instagram at Buttrfly Girls, BUTTRFLYGIRLS _ on Instagram. and Buttrfly Girls on Facebook, just Butterfly without the E Girls. And then you can also visit www.butterflygirls.com, butterfly with no E, on the World Wide Webs. And you can find me at Dr. Dr. on Instagram, or Dr. Lons, the neuropharmacologist. I think that's what it is. That's my science page. I'm gonna start doing experiments on there in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
What about you, LeJuene?
On Facebook, I am the official LeJuene Thompson, and Instagram, Madam Butterfly _ LeJuene Thompson.
Oh, I love that. Well, ladies, again, thank you for hanging out with me here in the Brownstone. You guys have been listening to Dr. Michele of Numbers Don't Lie on KCCR Cityscape Radio. I really appreciate everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys took something from Dr. Lons and LeJuene and what they're doing with Buttrfly Girls. Make sure you go check them out. Remember to tune in each and every week and check out Brownstone Worldwide, all the great things happening. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time.